So there are 4 ways in which we can think about this technology, and I've produced a playbook for each of them. And I think the most simple and naive approach is to say that we deny it. If you were to interact with or adopt a deny strategy, I must say it's going to be placing your organization at odds with your innovators, early adopters, and some of your early majority, and it is a conflict-generating strategy. There is no way to deny this technology without entering into conflict. What you need to know is that the systems work to detect plagiarism based on this perplexity score. The score is really low, so you're going to get false positives as well as false negatives. And a lot of the inbound content that your organization will be consuming is going to be generated by this. So you're going to place this burden on your humans to say, do your own work in isolation, but the content that they're consuming is going to be coming from these cases. So I don't think it is a viable one to do. If you were to do it, you would have to train your staff on your business's plagiarism policy repeatedly. You're going to have to do awareness and sensitivity messaging. You're going to have to build plagiarism detection points at lots of points along your process, so lots of different gates to detect it. And you're going to have to create whistleblower interfaces so that your staff can let you know if other staff are using it. Not great. If you were to communicate this to the market, you're going to have to create some kind of value differential to say that human-generated content is better than AI-generated content. You have to talk about authenticity, and you'd have to show that the information or the content you generate is of a higher quality, and you're going to have to also devalue AI-generated content by saying, look at this failure case, it's not great. There's a more permissive approach, which is where you embrace the technology, and here you allow your staff to be invested to the degree that they're comfortable with, right? So it's permissive, it's conflict-free, it's not driving it actively. If somebody wants to use it, they're allowed to. If somebody doesn't want to use it, that's fine. They also don't have to. I think that here you need to know that ChatGPT can broadly contribute across many domains of your business. It can hallucinate these convincingly good replies that could be fundamentally wrong, right? So you need to train your staff on detecting these type 2 and type 1 errors. And I think that you've also got a budget for it, because as we've seen with the Chat GPT Plus, there's paywalls to get better access to the service, get better quality results. And so you have to include in your budget. So you've got to train your team on how to use the technology. You've got to manage a content attribution process. At the moment, the licensing and legal terms are very permissive, where folk are transferring ownership of the content that has been generated to you. So they're not owning it in any way. You need to budget for the subscription services, and you've also got to just explain to folk that when you send this information across to these models, there may be some confidentiality and secrecy concerns. So you've got to do so in an appropriate way. You've got to say that your business allows for this, right? It allows for the use of the generative content, that your team is trained and so therefore use it well, and that your customers have a choice whether or not they want to opt in or opt out. And this is, again, broadly permissive, very conflict-free strategy. You've got to show that composite content is the very best of it all, and that you've got to show that your team's capacity and resource efficacy is improved as a result of the application of this technology. Finally, we think about the embed playbook, and this is one where you actively drive the technology into your business. You're going to use this technology to transform the way in which you work. And I think that it's important to recognize that these systems in their current form can materially transform your systems and processes in a better way. We expect them to get better. The differential between the bottom 10th percentile and the top 10th percentile between ChatGPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 4 is huge. And so I think that ChatGPT 5 is going to be even more incredible. And that this undirected chat interface is likely to remain proprietary. So you're going to have to be doing business with these firms that have these very large interfaces, but you can go and make your own, right? You've got to say that AI is in our DNA, so that you talk to the fact that you have seamlessly integrated these technologies alongside your people, that there is organizational level support and empowerment for use of this technology. You've got to identify the processes that are requiring these large amounts of human input and go and get the process owners to go and extend these processes and refactor them to use this technology. And you can empower the owners themselves to drive that change. And you can show that everything gets better with this AI. Resource efficacy improves because you're unburdened by the system. You have a reduced error rate, improved employee satisfaction, and business profitability. So I think there's lots of good stuff around the embed play. And for our final one, the fourth, I think that there is an opportunity to actually extend the technology if you wished. You can go and take these open source models and you can invest in their training. It's not cheap, but a lot of private actors have shown that by using this RLHF, or reinforcement learning with human feedback, you can go and train your model at a fraction of the cost of the full-size one. It is going to cost you between $2.5 to $10 million to do a train, but operating it is considerably cheaper than that. So just to sort of contextualize where that value space would lie. But be aware of the training corpora about this copyright pollution of training sets and so on. So just check that the licenses are correct. You've got to build your innovation teams that have the skills to build on top of these services. You've got to generate real value propositions, new ways of doing business once you own this technology within your domain. It's about great user experiences in addition to a really good technology. So I think that the chat interface is just genius because of the sophistication pairing. And you've got to drive these public interfaces to maximize information gathering, because the more examples you have of how it's used, the better you're going to be able to drive those interactions forward. You've got to talk about innovation calendars and pipelines. You've got to recruit the technical team that's able to deliver this. And you've got to say that the future with this technology is better. You've got to show that your niche application performance can be better than any of your competitors, and that the product experience, user journey, and business opportunities are all new and better as a result of this extension. So I think finally, just to sort of close up and reflect on a call to action, I think that you've got these boundaries within your business, right? So both between your employees and your core business systems, as well as between markets and customers and your business. And as you cross these boundaries, there's an opportunity to build in this technology. I think that you can think about the information that comes in here could actually be generated by an AI. And so the reply that goes back, why can't that be generated by a reply? And when you provide your communication to the market across this boundary, you can generate an offer that's actually come from these types of systems. Similarly, where your employees are interacting with core systems, you can create those interfaces and minimize the burden on the employees and drive it forward with this technology. So the question I want to pose to you is, like, where in your business can we retool for the sustainability? Like, what is the process we change with this technology that makes your business better? And that's a conversation I'd love to have. So reach out to me. I'm at mike.grant@synthesis.co.za, and I'd love to chat to you around some of those challenges and how we can bring it to life in your organization.